Who knows anything about it? 30 years ago, my husband at the time was called on the phone, the landline. They called him, and he's like, hello, and they're like, whatever he was, Specialist Lindner, whatever he was at the time. And he's like, yeah. And they're like, how are you conscious? Why are you not unconscious? He's like, what are you talking about? They're like, we got your blood results. There's no iron in your blood, like 0. And he's like, what? How did they not know this? He'd been in the Army for several years. All the blood tests and all the things they do to these guys and gals when they join the military, how did they not know this? They didn't run their blood when they first got him in there. I mean, he goes all the way through DLI, Arabic School, Defense Language Institute, all that. Might even have been before the war. I'm not sure. I think it was before the war, honestly. The Gulf War, which he went to immediately. He was one of the first ones to get shipped the fuck out of here. But anyway, we were at Fort Campbell at the time. So yeah, they call him up. They're like, well, how are you conscious? He's like, what are you talking about? And anyway, so then they decide that he's special. And he is. They brought him in to the hospital to run a series of tests on him to find out what the flip-flop is wrong with this guy. How come there's no iron in his blood, but he's walking around? I'm like, because he ain't even human, okay? I don't know. No, anyway, as it turns out, they have come to the conclusion that he is a carrier, that's what they said at the time, of the thalassemia. Thalassemia B. Makes him a carrier of this trait. But he does not actually have thalassemia A, which is like will kill you, like right after you're born, or like you're really sickly, or like I got to do all these weird things to you. I don't know. I don't know because I didn't need to know that. And it's a blood disorder. It makes you look anemic, and you are kind of a little bit, sort of like they don't know that much at the time. They're just like we don't know anything. And the thing is, there's no money to be made in it, so they weren't going to find out. They didn't give a shit. Interesting thing, there's one positive about having thalassemia B, blood disorder, and that is malaria absolutely will not and cannot set into your body. How do you like that? How do you like them apples? So when, your relatives that are in the Mediterranean area have this thalassemia B trait and they just keep cooking it along with their kids, they're all surviving malaria, and all these other normal-blooded people are dropping the one dead from this shit. So anyway, they can't contract malaria. So good for them. So they made it across the ocean, these Italian people, and I'm the mother of 2 of their descendants. And both of them have thalassemia B trait. Now, one thing I noticed about all of them, the dad, the daughters, they must sleep a number of hours more than the average person, or they're no fucking good whatsoever. And they sleep deeper. Like you could bring a parade through. When they go into their REM sleep, you could do anything. You could flip lights on, you could just freaking live a normal life. They could be passed out on the floor. They will not hear you. They will not move. They go into like a coma-like state for several hours. Little bit disturbing when you're not used to that, but it used to kind of bug me that he needed like 12 hours. I'm like, why is this guy so fucking lazy? Because he really wasn't lazy. He wasn't like, he didn't lay around. I wouldn't call this dude lazy per se. I mean, he was a runner. I mean, he just ran my daughter told me their dad just ran a 12 mile or 20. I don't know what the hell he ran. I'm like, what? And he's got thalassemia, which we were told provides them with less oxygen saturation than the average bear. For their blood cells are apparently smaller, and something had to do with the hemoglobin. Now, I'm asking anybody out there, does anybody that listens to me, do you have this condition, and are you treating it in any which way? Because one of my children is saying she's having pain, which appears to be spleen pain, and her tiredness level, like she can't work as much as other people. She knows she has to have that 9, 10, 12 hours sleep or she's no good. She serves. She's a very fast-paced, on her feet. She's a bartender of an elite restaurant, and she is also teaching pole dancing. She just got started earlier this year, and she's already teaching intermediate. she's an athlete. Where she skates, she does this, she does that. She's busy, but she says, Mom, I'm like, if I try to teach a class and then work, I'm like, she claimed to have tunnel vision. I was like, what? That sounds pretty damn dangerous. I had tunnel vision once. I told her when I had it. Actually, I had it twice. Once was drug-induced. I was young and I didn't know any better. And I took somebody gave me a lewd and had me drink. And I'm like, and tunnel vision. And I should have told my parents. I thought it'd be better to die than to let them know. I went to bed and I lived. But anyway, the second time I had tunnel vision was when I was nursing my first child and I hadn't slept in days because I was eating fruits and vegetables like they said, and she had gas so bad she was screaming, couldn't sleep, and I'm nursing her. So if I have gas, she has gas. So that's what this nurse finally told me. She's like, stop eating all those vegetables, goddamn. And it worked. But when she said tunnel vision, I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, it happens sometimes at work. And she's like, I'll be like, I'm like, she's going to pass out, like she's going down. And I'm going, oh. I was like, okay, look, first I want you to, well, she did research, thalassemia in the area. No doctors that know shit about that. She called one. I'm like, we can test it to see if you have it, but it's really expensive. Like, we already know she has it. She had the test done when she was a child at Fort Meade, Maryland, at the hospital. If I could dig up her records, I could point to it. She's been diagnosed with, yes, you have the trait. Yes, this is what your blood looks like under a microscope. Now, apparently, they know more now. I met my half-brother several years ago whose wife was a family doctor. She said to me, Karen, look into it more. They know more about thalassemia now. I'm like, whatever. But I was thinking, whatever, because it seems to me that my children are okay, and they're very low level affected. But she's going, no, there's something with the anemia. I feel like I remember her saying that, and I'm like, they're doing better than I am, so I think they look pretty healthy to me. But I mean, it's not like I'm dismissing what she's saying. I just filed it like maybe later. Yeah, you're probably right, which is where I'm at today. And I told my daughter, I said, hey, call your aunt. Get up with her, man. I mean, get up with her. And say, what do you know? Or can you point me somewhere? Maybe John Hopkins. So I said, look, she's like, I'm like, look, Nature's Sunshine Spleen Activator. Possibly. I've seen it in the store. I was like, Nature's Sunshine. I use their products from time to time, often. In fact, right now, the yeast fungal detox for the dogs. They're very, very, very good products, in my opinion. Do all of them do anything that they say? So, I don't think so, but a lot of them do work. Like a lot of it might be just BS, but the stuff that it works. So I'm thinking, get some spleen activator, get on that while you're trying to learn about. And I told her to go to an oxygen bar where they got oxygen hanging. You can just use it for a certain amount of time, see what that feels like. If you are really digging that, get yourself an oxygen generator and use oxygen for several hours every night before you go to bed. A friend of mine, nurse, had told me that she had sleep apnea and that she actually uses oxygen every night for several hours before she goes to bed. She also tapes her mouth shut so that she will only breathe through her nose. She says this will lower your chance of stroke or having a heart attack. I don't know if she means all the time or just at night while you're sleeping. I don't know what she meant by that. I'd never tape my mouth shut because I just can't handle it all. But I understand the reasoning behind it. If it doesn't bother you the way it feels, it might be a good idea. But at any rate, I just want her to... Does anyone know anything about thalassemia B? And is my daughter barking up the right tree? I do believe she is. I believe she's barking up the right tree. So that's it. Over and out. YouTube. Yes, I have given birth to the changelings. They're just not normal. You know what I'm saying? But they've got superpower of being able to survive malaria injections. So they're like, that's their superpower. But they need to sleep 12 hours a night or they're no damn good. They're like, where's that superpower? Where's Wonder Woman again? She says, she'll be with you by noon. And she'll be spinning on the pole and looking like an angel while mixing you a $28 artisan drink. Bing.